everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim and today I'm kind of bringing you my first attempt at this style of video, so bear with me. It may be slightly longer than normal, but alright. So as you know by the title, this is going to be a deck of TBR, so this is kind of my take on the deck of TBR game that Books with Maddie, and I have her channel linked down below. But it's kind of my take on her game that she created. I have a deck of cards right here. I think they're really, really cute. So this is an example of a king. It's a fairy deck. I really like fairies, so I found that on Amazon for fairly not too pricey, so I decided to get them. And this video is kind of an introduction and then my first pull for November, November's TBR, and I'm going to go over some rules and then kind of modifications for November, and I'll go into explanations about that. We'll do the picking, drawing of the books, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so the rules time. Alright, so for the ace, king, and queen, they have specific rules that they have to follow. For the ace card, I really enjoyed how Maddie had kind of adjusted her rules, that she's been playing this game for quite a while. And I like the idea of when I draw cards from the deck that I will pull them out and they won't be back in until I get this card, which is a shuffle. This will mean to shuffle all my cards back in and reshuffle, so each time I do a drawing I'm not shuffling the cards, whether it's in this game or in the next. But anytime I get an ace, that's when the cards get shuffled back in, and then we'll continue drawing from there. Alright, for the king prompt, this will be, so this is a king. So if I got one of these out of the 4 different suits, I would have to do a random color generator. So the color that I get, which will go into the, probably on my iPad or even my phone, I'm not sure, depending on what best works on camera, and choose a random, the first kind of color generator that I find, and then whatever color comes up, then I'll get a book off my shelves that goes with the colors of that draw. So that's what the king will represent. The queen will be a mood read, because if I draw, again, one of the 4 queens, that means I can pick any book that I want to read that is interested me at that time. So this is kind of a free wild card, and be able to read anything that I choose out of any of my books that I have, whether they're on my TBR, which is preferably what I would like, or any reread books that I'm drawn to at that time. So that's what the queens will be my mood reads. And then the jack, I love these cards. The jack will represent my to be read wheel, and I'll go into all of that. So kind of like in other games that you have seen, the TBR jar, but instead of having jars and a big board behind me, I have all of my stuff into wheels, so that's how I'll be doing my drawings. So that is what the Joker represents, is getting a book off my TBR shelf. That I have 3 shelves here, and then 2 in my living room are books that I've got that I have not read, so that's quite a lot of books. Alright, so let me go over to the wheels and kind of give you a brief overview, and then I'll go into the more specific rules of how that's going to work. Okay, so let me get up my spin the wheel. Alright, so the first one, I think one of the prompts is a Kindle read, and this is my Kindle Unlimited wheel, so everything is, and I'll just press it, it'll spin, and then give me the book that I need to read if that's a prompt that I get. DNF books is a prompt, so these are the books that I have DNF'd over this year, so I can, again, spin the wheel and choose a book from that and give it a second chance. Alright, so this is the spade wheel, and right now there's not a lot yet. These are some prompts. I can really use you guys' help down below in the comments of giving me different types of prompts for the spades, the suits, the spades. So I got typed books, hold on, let me get to my intimidating books, more than one author, favorite trope, the books that I'm dying to read. continue a series that I'm reading. Books with 2 different colors on them, retellings, hype to books, books I've DNF'd, which is that other will that I had, seasonal readings, anything else. Again, any prompts that you guys have for me that you want me to add to my will, because there's not a lot there yet, I would very much appreciate it. The club suit, these are challenge wills. So this could be blind pick, highest rated on Goodreads. The pack picks my book. Read 2 short stories. I'm terrible at reading short stories. Authors never read, lowest rated, a second chance book. Could do combine a suit like a heart and a diamond, that type of thing. Continuing a series that I'm kind of on the fence about. I don't know if I want to continue it or not. A book that's 500 plus more pages, genre I typically don't read, those type of things. Again, if you want to leave me some more challenges down below, I would love that as well. The diamond, this one I have the most for. Okay, so this is kind of the setup. So some of them are 500 plus more pages. This again is an aspect of the book. They're paperback, a blog cover. Kindle Unlimited is scribd books that I'm reading or listening to, hardcover, newest purchase, Audible, newest published, oldest published, cover I'm drawn to, under 300 pages, under 200 pages, 3 or more words in the title, etc. Things like that. So I'm still working on these. Like I said, I can always add them in as you guys leave me some suggestions, which I would appreciate. The hearts, again, this is its wheel, what it looks like. And I'll show you kind of how it's set up. And I love where I can shuffle them up as well. So the hearts is genre, so romance, fantasy romance, thriller, horror, domestic thriller, dystopian, urban fantasy, shifter romance, paranormal romance, grimdark, apocalyptic, contemporary romance. Those are the most of the genres that I read. So we will choose that. Again, if I get any suits out of the hearts suit, any cards from the hearts, that's what I'll go to. Did I do clubs? I think I did. Yeah, I think I've done all of them. This is my second chance. So these are all books that I've pulled from a while ago that I'm trying, as you can tell, there's a lot more on this wheel than my others. And that's kind of what it looks like. Again, these are historical fiction, but there are a few kind of paranormal or shiftery type books and romances in. All of these are pretty much romance of some type, so there's a lot that I need to go through. And then my physical TBR is even worse. Yeah, so that's what my physical TBR looks like. And then again, it's the setup of all of these, kind of. Yeah, there's a lot on this. And I just recently, the other day, went through and made sure every book that is in this will is on my shelves, that if I have already unhauled them, that they're still not in my will, etc. So everything should be up to date. I know I have 2 book boxes I need to do, and that's 6 more books that I've got to add in to that will, but otherwise it is currently up to date. Okay. Alright, so those are my wills, and that's how I'm going to do it. So it doesn't matter if it's a 2 of hearts, 5 of clubs, etc. That I will just go to its suit and then randomly generate what goes into for that card. And then I will write it down so I remember, and then I'll pull the books at the end and show you for each card what I'm going to be reading for it. So now that I've kind of showed you my game board of wheels, let's go into some rules. These are not hard and fast. I only have 6 rules at the moment. Again, I'm going to take the next couple of months to see what I like, what I dislike, what I want to change, and then January I'll kind of know and get your feedback. What you liked, what are some adjustments I might need to make. I love your feedback to help this style video do well. Hopefully it's going to help me stay motivated to read more and stick to a little bit of the TBR, but still have some wiggle room as we go. Alright, okay, so the very first rule, I want to set at least 6 books, no more than 6 books per month that I'm drawing for. I'm capping off at that, and that gives me some time within the month to actually be able to read. Again, if you follow my channel, you know I work full-time as a teacher, and I don't get a lot of time to read during the week. Most of my reading gets done on the weekend, so I think 6 books a month, if I can keep it around that, is doing really good. If I read more than that, great, but I don't want to overwhelm and stress myself out. Having 10, 15, 20 books on a TBR that I know I'm not going to go into. It's going to be a little bit easier kind of manipulate through these next 2 months because I do have a week off in November, and then I have a 2-week break in December, one for Thanksgiving, November, and then our Christmas holiday weeks off in December going into the 1st of January. If you hear that, that is Romeo. Okay, I know, but I gotta be able to film, my love. Okay, so typically most months, 6 books. Again, I will probably read more than that, but I'm going to set myself a goal of at least 6 books. Again, like I said, if I get more, awesome. Okay? All right. We kind of touched on this earlier. Again, when I pull a card for that month, I'm not going to put it back into the deck until I shuffle or get the ace card to shuffle back in. So again, that will hopefully help keep me from getting doubles and triples and that sort of thing of pulling back-to-back things. And I'm going to keep it back-to-back. I don't want it to be, you know, through the whole game. Again, I'm new at this. I don't want to set myself up for failures. You guys are familiar with when a lot of people get doubles or triples back-to-back. That's extra books that they put on their TBR to read. Again, with my time constraints, I'm going to try to hopefully avoid that as much as I can, but we're going to make it work as we need to. So again, I'm trying to keep my punishments down to a minimum. Okay, so my punishments, again, that's if it's back-to-back draws, say it's 2 of hearts and 2 of diamonds, then that would be a double back-to-back, and then I would have to have an additional book. How I will try to do that is my last pick for my 6, and I will combine 2 different prompts, a heart and a diamond, club and a spade, whatever. So putting the 2 different aspects together into one book and pull for that. So again, it helps me keep my books down, and we'll get it together for that. So again, trying to cap it out at 6. Even when I'm doing punishments, I'm going to combine the books to help me out. Again, as I'm playing, we'll see how this works. Again, these are not hard and fast. We can always manipulate and adjust as we need to. Okay. If I do not finish the books, I will be moving them over to the next month, so I'll have probably less draws for that month. Again, we already talked about because of my time constraints, but there are some kind of rules within that. If it's a book that I just didn't get to because I ran out of time, that's one thing. However, if I'm not drawn to that book at all, have no interest in picking it up, I have 3 months to decide. Is it I'm not in the mood for it? Is it because the writing, style of writing is not something I'm clicking with? I need to have a hard and fast rule about that. After 3 months, if it being in and I'm still not picking it up, then I'm going to unhaul the book. But if it's simply I'm just not in the mood for it, and I know it's a book that sounds interesting and I really want to get into it, but I'm just not in that time or mind space for it, then I may put it to the side and put it into a possible second chance wheel and see if later on I'll pick it up and I enjoy it then. But again, after 3 months, we're going to make hard and fast rule about putting it on a second chance or just unhauling it because it's just not jiving with me, clicking with me, and that sort of thing. So that's kind of how my punishments are rolling right now. Again, we'll see how that goes. Alright, so now for the really exciting time, let me shuffle up my deck on camera. I've given it several shuffles off camera. I put in the 4 cards from earlier that I showed you to go over the different suits for the King, Ace, King, Queen, and the Joker. So let me shuffle up a few times. I would do this in the air, but that would be a 52 card pickup style. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game, but it's not fun. Alright, so So again, I'm going to first pull my cards off the top, so on camera. And the first card is a king of, so I'm going to say a king of spades. That's ironic. All right, so write it down, and then we'll do the drawing the wheels in a little bit. All right, so the next card is the four of diamonds. Again, I don't know how well you guys can see them because my camera refuses to zoom in or focus in, however you call it. So I'm trying to do this the best I can. Okay, this is the nine of spades. Spades is apparently going to be my favorite suit. Okay, and then I forgot to tell you that I'm only doing 4 drawings, so let's get our fourth and final draw out of the way. And this is 2 of hearts. Okay, so we'll set that. Alright, so like I said earlier that I was only going to be drawing no more than 6 per month. The reason that I'm only drawing 4 cards is that I'm going to be participating in probably my second readathon for this year. I wanted to do like 1 every month or as many readathons as I could this year. I kind of fell flat on that. But yeah, so the readathon that I'm going to be participating in is for 2 weeks for November, and then they're going to have a month-long one in March. So it's our kind of initial journey, our starting point type of readathon, and there's 2 books that I'm going to be reading in it. And it is called A Game of Tomes. But this again I think is my second or third readathon of the year that I've participated in. And I've already got some ideas of the 2 books that I want to read for the path I think I'm taking. So I'm trying to plan out all of that because I'm super excited. So those would be the other 2 books for this month. That's why I'm only doing 4 draws. Anywho, okay. So I have pulled up my random color generator. This is again for the King prompt. So let's, kind of has the salmon orange color, so let's generate our color in theory. There it goes. So it looks like it's kind of a purplish color. Kind of, yeah, so I would call it purple. At least that's what my eyes are going for. I don't think it gives me an actual color name. So we will just call it purple. Alright, so that is a purple for the color. So whatever book I choose has to have purple in it. So we're going to set that card to the side. Alright, and then our next card is the 4 of diamonds. And then, so again, I haven't chosen anything. Alright, so let's see what I get for the physical aspect, which is what the diamond suit is. What is it going to give me? Alright, so it's a Kindle. Alright, so it's a Kindle Unlimited book. Alright, so we will figure that one out. So that was my 4 of diamonds card prompt. Alright, then the 9 of spades is where we're going to next. Alright, so let us spin my spades, my prompts. Let's see what I get. So this is a dying to read. So a book that I'm absolutely dying to read. My board is just really treating me well. Oh my goodness. Like one of my most anticipated reads. Alright. And then the very last card is the 2 of hearts. So let me go over to that wheel. Alright, this is for genre. See what we get here. Right? What do I get? Oh! Fantasy romance. I love it. I was really kind of actually hoping for thriller. But fantasy romance, I've gotten into it so much here recently. Oh, yay! Alright, so rom-com. Not rom-coms, but I can't remember how people were calling that, and that threw me for a loop until I figured out it was fantasy romance. Alright, so now I've got to go pull some books that will fit all of these prompts. That ought to be fun, and I'll come back and I'll share with you what I got. Alright, so that took me a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I did not realize how many books I have that didn't have purple in them. There was one I really wanted to get to. I think it's called The Great Hunt. It's the third or fourth book out of the third book of the Wheel of Time series. I'm getting my numbers all mixed up. Third or fourth, somewhere around in that area. It has purple writing as on the writing, the title, and the author and all of that. But I don't know when I'm going to finish the one that I'm in currently. I think I'm in chapter 43 out of like 50 something. So possibility that I'll finish it, but probably not. So I went with an old favorite I haven't read in years. This is a romance, historical romance. This is Forbidden by Elizabeth Lowell and has the purple here, purple on the back. So this is my purple read, book with the purple on the cover. I scanned through and looked through all of my books on TBR shelf. None of them have purple on it. None! So I was very shocked about that. So that is book number 1 out of my 4 picks. Then the next one was my Kindle Unlimited, and I will show you and put a picture up on the screen of what it looks like. We'll just do that. It is called Made of Steel. It's from my Kindle Unlimited. I'm getting really into my romances here lately. That's what I primarily started with. A lot was with the historical. Now I'm more in the contemporary, present day time style of romance books, adult books. So that is what we're going to do for the Kindle Unlimited. It is one that I have downloaded previously, just haven't gotten to. So I'm super excited to get into it. I believe when I read the synopsis, is about a woman. She's kind of fleeing from her past, and then her past is coming back to haunt her. She moved to a new town, trying to restart a life. So it sounds very interesting. So I can't wait to see and dive into that one. It's about fully a dying to read book. This was hard because I got so many good books that I've purchased in the last couple of months because I've gone on a book buying binge, and I can't wait to get to a lot of them. But I had to narrow it down, and this is the one I came up to. I've read the first one, which was Mercy Grave. This is the second book out of this trilogy. It's Dark Triumph. This is by Robin Lefevers, and it's following a woman. In the first book, it's actually kind of weird because it's a convent of assassins. It's kind of a weird concept. It's not Catholic or Catholicism type of convent. I think it's based in kind of an English style setting, I think, and I know it's fantasy, and they worship this god, basically like Hades, the underworld, the god of death. The god of death. That's what the word I'm looking for. The god of death, and they're his maidens who go out and punish those who are deserving, who, when they see him, there's a mark from death on that, and that's how they know that they are to assassinate this person. So by the end of it, I loved the first book. It kept me engaged. It was quite a thick book. This one is quite a bit smaller than the first one, so I should have no problem reading it. If it is as good as the first one, I love the color. I am drawn to swords. I don't know what it is. I've always had a fascination for swords and knives that are intricately done and created, and I love this. So I cannot wait to get my little mitts on this one and read it. So that's book number 3. And then the final book that I've done for this drawing, this is The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. This is a fantasy romance. I left off, what was the first book called? A Kiss of Deception. And I love that book. And I don't know why. I've had it on my TBR at least a month, or ever since I read this one. So it might have been late August, beginning of September. I don't really remember because I had a lot of migraines going on, a lot of headaches. So I was hit or miss of what I was reading when I was reading. But it's fairly recently, in the last month or so, that I've read the first book. Loved it. Loved it. And so I don't know why I've been hesitating to pick this one up, but this is one that forced me to read it, and I want to read it. So yes, I cannot wait, because I want to dive back in, because there's kind of this little love triangle going on with it, but I think because some deception and betrayal went on, I think she's firmly with who she wants to be with, but he has also kind of betrayed her as well. So I don't know where it's going to go, because they left off in a very sticky situation. So yeah, cannot wait to get back into this. All right, yeah, so these are all of the books. Again, I will have my other 2 books when I do my announcement video for the Game of Tomes readathon. I will share with you those 2 books that I'm adding into this TBR, and I cannot wait. Anywho, so please leave me your comments, your suggestions, your thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed this style video. It's definitely been an experience learning on the fly as I go. And until my next video, you guys, happy reading. Bye, guys.